Why would a 35-year-old superstar risk it all when he's already conquered football, built a media empire, and found love with one of the biggest icons on the planet? Today, we're diving into the story behind Travis Kelce's decision to return for one more season with the Kansas City Chiefs. And trust me, this isn't just about football. It's about redemption, love, and the pursuit of joy. I'll never forget the first time I realized football isn't just about the game. It's about the stories inside the game, the sacrifices, the rivalries, the heartbreak, the love stories, and sometimes the unexpected twists that capture the entire world's attention. That's exactly what's happening right now in Kansas City. When I walked into the press conference that morning, you could feel the tension in the air. Cuts were coming. Players were fighting for their spots. Careers were hanging in the balance. Coaches like Andy Reid tried to keep things steady, cracking small jokes here and there, but everyone knew this wasn't just another day at camp. This was about dreams. Who would stay, who would go, and who would step up to carry the weight of an entire season on their shoulders. Coach Reid fielded questions with his usual calmness. Who's here? Who's not? How do you handle practice before roster cuts? His answers were simple, guarded, almost fatherly. But hidden in his tone was an understanding. He knew exactly what these young men were going through. It's always a tough day, he said, and he wasn't wrong. For every name called, another name fades into the shadows. That's the brutal reality of this sport we love. And yet, through the grit and grind, you could see the spark in the rookies. Kingsley holding his own next to Josh, showing flashes of what could be. The offensive line pushing back against blitzes, proving their resilience. The chemistry wasn't perfect yet, but it was there, brewing, waiting to ignite when the season began. But here's the thing, this year feels different. And not just because the Chiefs are heading to Brazil to open the season against the Chargers, a surreal shift that has players half joking about Fast and Furious scenes. No, it feels different because of the weight of last year's ending. Super Bowl 59 still lingers like a bitter taste. You can see it in Travis Kelce's eyes, even as he laughs on his podcast with his brother Jason. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He admits he didn't play his best. He admits he let people down. And when Jason asked him the million-dollar question, why come back? Why risk it? Why not walk away and enjoy everything else life is offering you? Because the truth is, Travis Kelce doesn't just play football, he lives it. Yes, he has Hollywood projects lined up. Yes, there are TV deals, movie cameos, podcasts, and opportunities most athletes only dream of. But none of that compares to the rush of stepping onto the field, the roar of Arrowhead Stadium, or the bond he has with his teammates. The biggest thing is that I love playing the game of football, he said. And you could feel it, not just as a quote, but as a heartbeat. And maybe that's why his story has transcended sports, because now intertwined with his journey is another global phenomenon, Taylor Swift. It's still surreal when you think about it. One of the greatest tight ends of all time falling in love with one of the greatest artists of our generation. It sounds like a movie script, but it's real life. From the first game Taylor attended back in September 2023, the world hasn't stopped watching. Cameras cut to her in the suite. Social media erupts every time she cheers. And suddenly, the Kansas City Chiefs aren't just a football team. They're a pop culture phenomenon. At the premiere of ESPN's new docuseries The Kingdom, even the owner, Clark Hunt, admitted it. Taylor's presence is part of the story now. Her first game, her perspective, her love story with Travis, it's all woven into the fabric of this franchise's history. And you know what? That's the beauty of sports. They're unpredictable. They're bigger than wins and losses. They're about people, real people. Like Ed Kelce, Travis's dad, who beams when he talks about his son's happiness. There's no question about it, he said. Taylor brings out the best in him. Think about that for a second. Behind the touchdowns, the fame, the trophies, there's a man who simply found joy again. And maybe that's why so many people are invested. Because it's not just about whether Travis will bring home another Super Bowl, it's about whether he can balance legacy, love, and life. And yet football doesn't wait for love stories. Training camp rolls on. Rookies fight for roster spots. Veterans like Derek Nady return, hungry to prove their worth. Young receivers like Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and Xavier Worthy bring explosive speed, promising to stretch the field in ways we haven't seen before. You can feel the energy in that wide receiver room, laughing, joking, pushing each other, but dead serious when it's time to line up. As Xavier Worthy said, everybody could go make a play at any moment. That's the new reality. You can't key in on one guy anymore. The Chiefs' offense isn't just about Travis and Mahomes, it's about a whole army of weapons, each ready to make their mark. But beneath all of that, there's still the looming question, what happens if this is Travis Kelce's last ride? He's 35 now. This is the final year of his contract. And yes, he says he can play at an even higher level, but we all know how quickly things can change in this league. So maybe that's what makes this season so captivating. It's not just another chapter in the Chiefs dynasty, it's potentially the closing act of a legend's career and the opening act of a love story that the whole world is watching. When you combine all of that, the pressure of redemption after Super Bowl 59, the excitement of a new season opener in Brazil, the rise of young stars, and yes, the presence of Taylor Swift, you don't just have a football story, you have a cultural moment. And that's why we watch. That's why we care. That's why, when Travis Kelce straps on his helmet this season, we'll all be watching a little closer, knowing that this year isn't just about touchdowns, it's about legacy, it's about love, it's about finding joy in the middle of chaos. This isn't just football. This is life played out on the biggest stage in the world. Let me tell you something. Sometimes love doesn't just happen, it performs. It shows up on the biggest stage possible, and it reminds us why stories matter. This week, I found myself glued to my screen, watching a moment that felt less like celebrity gossip and more like a cultural milestone. Taylor Swift, our generation's greatest storyteller, stood in Kansas City, wrapped in roses and vows, saying yes to a forever with Travis Kelce. And if you think this is just another Hollywood wedding, you're missing the point. This was a love story, written in real time, one that's been unfolding in public, in stadiums, in headlines, and now in a garden where two worlds finally became one. It was August 26th, Kansas City, Missouri. The sun rose over a city already buzzing, as if the Chiefs had won another Super Bowl. Except this time, it wasn't a trophy being lifted, it was two lives being bound together. I want you to picture this. Travis Kelce's private villa transformed into a dreamscape. Dozens of cars arriving, petals carpeting the path, hydrangeas and roses bursting in white, pink, and purple. It wasn't just decoration, it was theater. Taylor Swift, who has spent her life making ordinary moments extraordinary, walked into a scene that felt like one of her own music videos. Except this wasn't scripted. This was real. Her dress was everything you'd expect. Classic, elegant, whispered to be designed by one of Italy's great fashion houses. It struck the perfect balance, timeless yet modern, soft yet commanding. And then there was Travis in a navy blue suit, looking every bit the hero we've seen on the field, but this time, all his focus on one woman. When she appeared, his eyes locked on her, and for a second you realized this man who's won championships was already undone by something greater than victory. Kansas City wasn't just the venue, it was the stage where their entire story unfolded. Think about it. This is the city where Travis became a legend, where fans painted themselves red and gold, where Taylor appeared in the stands, cheering like any other girlfriend but shining like no one else could. By marrying here, they weren't just celebrating love.